Hey folks, it's your boy Cheese and Saltines. Today, I'm bringing you your Marvel Strike Force news update, Strike Time. As always, we'll be joined by Justice 3 Gaming to go over all the fun and exciting things happening in Marvel Strike Force this week. So without further ado, let's get into it. Justice 3 Gaming, how's it going?
All right. Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody, we are
this
filming.
This is Justice 3 Gaming, and if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably watching Justice 3 Strike Force. Welcome. I'm here with Cheese and Saltines, and we're talking Marvel Strike Force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are filming our first episode of Strike Time, which will be posted every Thursday. So you see it live here. Otherwise, you got to wait till Thursday to see all the fun stuff that we're going to be talking about for Marvel Strike Force content.
And man, do we got some stuff to talk about today.
Yes,
the
update
/ maintenance just dropped. And I was hit with a boomer the second I logged in after maintenance. And my God, they have lost their minds again. It was another $50 offer package.
Oh my God, man.
I am so worried this is the new normal.
Yep. Not only that, but we also got hit with, what, 4 new characters this update?
Yeah, well, you know, they're not showing up right now. It's just strictly Jubilee and Bishop at this point. I don't know if that was a safe move on their part. But I mean, they're already kind of getting a little bit of backlash for the Gear 13 for Jubilee right now. If you didn't know about that, you need Gear 13 now also with Pimp Tech in order to be able to get I don't know, maybe that's a 7-star requirement. But I have to look that up again.
Oh, I did see those. The recommendations that now for Jubilee, it was like, because I think unlocking her wasn't that much more insane, but everything after that was ridiculous. It jumps from just 5 stars, it was 6 yellow, 3 red or something like that. But then for that was recommended, even though you need 5 to get them, it was recommending 6 yellow still, and you're like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm like, what? Now they're kind of losing their minds with Gear 13. I'm like, But I started thinking about it on a professional level, and I was like, this kind of makes sense. You're giving Pim Tech a little more purpose, and getting the players, especially newer ones, to the game. Because I know some ridiculously low collection powers, crushing Dark Dimension right now, and it's because they're going with the Dark Dimension specific teams and making sure they're geared up. I for one am thankful that I did Pim Tech, not because of what we're dealing with now, but I was in the middle of going through Dark Dimension 3 and I went months trying to finish all those global nodes. And once I got a moderately good Pim Tech team going, I did my second run through and crushed the global nodes. They were, in at the top level, which I almost have them too. They're practically untouchable in Dark Dimension. And oh my God, my resources dwindled. I almost made it to 70.
Oh.
Oh, you ain't gonna like what I got to say about Bishop right now.
Oh
though.
Boy. All right. Well, that actually kicks us off, because the first thing I was gonna ask is Bishop and Jubilee. How good is your Bishop currently? And let's just take it from there.
My dude, you're gonna have to watch this stream again just so you know it's real. I got another 180 on the first pull.
Oh my God!
If you guys weren't watching before and haven't seen the stream for my Iceman, I got a 180 on Iceman. Literally just now doing the video trying to prep before Cheese and Saltines little get together. I got that 180 and I was like, oh my God, he ain't gonna believe this shit.
Dude, that's ridiculous. That's that seed theory that we're talking about. That's that seed theory.
Oh, fuck your seed. You know what? Let's not get into this. I'm not doing seed theory, and because I will lose my mind in this conversation. But, it's the universe evening itself out because I have shit for Astonishing X-Men Red Stars.
That's fair.
I mean, I had five good pulls. And even with all my 4s and 5s, I still couldn't get enough credits to at least try for an Elite 4.
Oh my God.
But this Bishop, I am so interested in seeing how well he does in raids. I kind of need him because there's only one challenge I don't have left, and it's that fucking blaster one.
Oh, the one for the mind blanking right this second.
The catalyst,
Yes,
one, I
yes,
think.
yes.
And it's not a big deal because if you look at the rewards and stuff, it's not like it's game breaking progress or anything. But it drives me crazy personally, knowing that I don't have that shit done. and it's in this weird place in my collection because the major teams I use for either raids or Dark Dimension or anything like that, none of them have anything to do with blasters.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
crazy. I literally had to go out of my way on power armor just to get my guys going through there.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I leveled them up. It was I was just switching alliances and they were doing offense at that point. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go in on this power armor. I need them to get through it was right when they dropped the latest set of challenges for it. Wait a minute. You know what? Haven't checked yet. I think the Doom Raid dropped.
As far as I'm concerned, those did drop. I have already seen Reddit blowing up about it, so.
Oh shit, there it is.
Yep. Yeah, I saw somebody already was freaking out on Facebook. One of the guys like, I'm in the 22nd best alliance, and we can't even touch this. Like, yep.
Yeah, wait till it pans to the Hulk, get a hold of it.
Did y'all forget what happened with the very first, when U5 or U7 first hit the second time after that first wave?
Oh my god.
I remember, didn't they say something like Pants of Hulk dropped like thousands just to beat it, just to be first?
Just yeah, ridiculous. I remember. They dropped somewhere between like 7 to 10 grand in power cores. I mean, I'm like, that is absolutely nuts.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, honestly, I'm look, followers, fans, subscribers, whoever you guys are, 100% full disclosure, if I had that kind of money, I would be dropping it. So I'm not going to make any excuses. I like this game that much.
Well, if I've heard correctly, isn't that kind of like the deal with that Tadano Mac is something along the lines of like Tadano Mac is actually like a trucking company?
Oh my god. I was with the Fantastic 24 and there was this like weird period where everybody was just looking into it and researching them. I guess if the rumors are true and our research was that accurate, he's some kind of like oil dude or something, or he works there or something, and they're using it for advertising. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that like a company basically backs the funding for that account.
Dude, I mean, for a company to back even all 24 members of an alliance, that would be spare change.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit, some more messages just dropped. Oh, Jubilee. Cannot wait for Jubilee.
It's going to be pretty exciting. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I was just browsing her kit in her Greyhead section.
Oh, really?
It looks so good. And what I'm really looking at is, can I use her outside of, raids and whatnot, and whether or not could I use her for Dark Dimension 4, and not really. I mean, she's really kind of stuck with the Astonishing X-Men, but she's got such good synergy with this Astonishing X-Men. It's almost disgusting.
Yeah, they actually did a way better job on her than I thought they were going to do. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't too thrilled with them picking Jubilee as a legendary. That just doesn't scream legendary to me.
But that threw me through a loop also.
I also heard, though, that they're doing big things with her in the comics, so I guess I can't really say too much about it. But I'm a pretty big comic fan, but more like nostalgic comics. I haven't paid much attention to them in a while, so
I mean, she's one of those characters that Emma Frost has looked into, and Emma Frost is like one of those characters in the Marvel universe where she can go, all right, you're actually like this. You're potentially an Omega level mutant because of this, and this. And Jubilee's one of those characters. Like she's got that energetic type of mutant power where if she wanted to deep dive into it, she could be an Omega level mutant.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like her design. I think it just sucks, especially the one that they put in here.
Oh yeah, I mean, was not a fan.
Look what they did with Psylocke's design. That was gorgeous. I mean, she looks great. She looks combat ready. and an updated design. What I'm looking at the gray head Jubilee's model right now, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, you could see she's wearing like a armor underneath her top,
Mm-hmm.
and that looks cooler than the shit that's on top. And they should have just gone with that, because with a long coat, she has a potential of having a really cool combat design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care. Her kit is sexy.
That's honestly, that's one of the most important things. There's characters in the game that I have picked up simply because they have a nice kit, and otherwise did not care at all about them. I'm trying to think who the last one that like I picked up because, well, I mean, for starters, Red Guardian. I never really cared for Red Guardian, but his kit looked good enough for me to be like, all right, I guess it's time to drop a little bit of money on this guy.
I've kept a good round budget for offers on characters. I don't really spend anything more than the offers, because I like it's, to me it feels like buying a new game.
Mm-hmm.
I got a new character, a new cool toy to play with, and that's what I'm gonna do with it. And because everything else, you could just use strategy and your wits to get what you need.
Yep. That's normally what I do too. Is I'll pick up characters. I haven't lately. I'm gonna be honest. I just kind of started giving up on buying the offers, but I really regret it because I did not go nearly as into the Dad Bros as I should have. Apparently, they're phenomenal, and I missed out on that one big time. So
my former alliance mate, Casino, did a video on the two of them taking on this big 230 something K punch up the other day, and they fucking won it. They didn't just win it; they won it without breaking a sweat.
There's some guy that I've been watching on who posts on Facebook like every single war, just them just trouncing other teams. Like I think I saw them do like a 250 punch up on a Defenders, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, you want to know what in I don't know whose defense here, but why the fuck you got Defenders like on your defense to begin with? That's your problem.
Well, it's about to get even worse, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. So I guess leading on to the next one though, Beast, his new update. How does that affect the Astonishing X-Men?
Oh, it's so good. I mean, not only is his special like super cheap, and it's the one that literally is doing kind of like the bulk of the healing of the group. It keeps Beast clean, and he really, really needs it, because you know how I did that analysis last week? Well, he was the only other character that had a really big hole in his stats, which was his armor. Now, funny enough, because Iceman has that thing where I think if Beast is there, he gets, or certain number of Astonishing X-Men where he could get resurrected again. Mm-hmm. Well, in my head, I was clicking like, oh shit, man, he's probably just a glass cannon, you know. Yep. And no, that's not the case. He's actually got one of the higher armors in the game, which is really cool. Plus, you stack the barrier that he gives himself, and he's actually pretty tanky.
Mm-hmm. And so, what exactly did Beast's update do? Just for everybody who's watching, in case they're too lazy to read.
It's hard to remember because in my brain, I'm always remembering currently what's in the kit.
Yep.
So I'm gonna look through to see if anything jumps out at me. If I had to guess, it would have to be in his passive, because I kind of remember him having the ability to clear negative effects off of himself with his special. Now, his ultimate has a couple Astonishing X-Men stuff in there. Oh, wow. I don't remember that. He's generating energy.
Is that off of his special?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that might have still been a thing previously, but I don't remember for sure.
I don't think so, because I don't recall it. Because in my head, when I do like my ISO analyses and trying to figure out how to do my positioning, I keep energy always in the back of my head, because that's usually what I try to work into a team on a raid team. And I was like, oh man, the one weakness that the Astonishing X, I was even prepping a script for the video. And I remember myself saying that their one weakness is that they can't generate energy for one another. But by speed, they should be able to pull it off no problem.
Right.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'm not talking to you, Cheese.
It's
You're not
okay.
that pretty.
I could be though.
That's my daughter. She's doing her Zoom, and I gave her my phone so she could get her codes and stuff off of it.
Gotcha.
Don't worry, you're getting there.
One day. That's what we stream for. We got to make the money to get the prosthetics and surgeries.
Yep. And so I don't remember the energy being a thing. I mean, at level 6, it drops the cost of his ultimate, but his ultimate is the one that does the energy. Is it? Wait, am I jumping around?
Let's see here. I'm actually
Like
gonna
on
pull it
mine
up right now. Oh, these are the release notes. So
yeah, it's the ultimate.
It was his special that was updated. It clears the negative effects from self and all astonishing X-Men allies.
So you mean the exact fucking opposite of what I was just saying? All right, but the energy thing is actually going to be extremely useful, even though this level, like his ultimate, is pretty expensive. Because in combination with like Jubilee, he's getting even more speed. But because of all the secondary actions that are happening around on the field with the rest of the team, he's getting speed bar a lot. So that should charge up pretty quickly, up to and including the fact that his ultimate's going to be getting energy for himself. I mean, he is an astonishing X-Men, so he should be getting some of that energy.
Yep, exactly. At least as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, there's always just, you might get Fox nexted.
Ugh.
All right. Well,
so Jubilee and Beast are the only ones that are really generating any like team-wide bonuses. Like Beast he's got the resistance thing on lock.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So moving on, Real Time Arena. For starters, how have you been enjoying Real Time Arena?
I finished that about 9 days left.
Oh, excellent!
So
glad to see what comes next.
Yeah, this is what I officially boiled it down to. This time around, I ended up getting the small battle pass to see how far I could go. If all I did was, do the dailies, make sure I try to finish all the weeklies, which was actually pretty easy once I got into it, and I finished the whole 100 levels with almost 10 days to spare. I would say about 9 days and some change, but I would round that off to about 10 days.
That sounds about right. I'm going to be honest, ever since they did their little update to it, I actually think it's gotten a little bit easier. Now, I didn't really go hard for this month's. I just didn't feel like making the investment this time around. But as a whole, the weeklies are a little bit tougher, but they give out a little bit more. And not having to do so many knockouts is just.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I mean, in the first one there was a 225, there was a 550, and there was a banger like 660, I think.
Yeah, just having to slog your way through like 650 knockouts was absurd.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a problem if, like, you could get credit for people quitting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had more quits than I could possibly imagine that first run through, and it was frustrating. It was one of the first times that I've actually sent tickets into support going, guys, you can't really do this. It's not fun. I don't want to do this. I'm doing it because, one, I'm a content creator, and two, it's resources. You know, I'm trying to get into Dark Dimension 4, but at the very least, make it fun, man.
Absolutely. But luckily, they just fixed that recently in this update, as a matter of fact. They're going to start having the AI take over for the opponent if the opponent quits out.
Yeah. Which means they're gonna do probably some more balancing on the what you got to do to get your thing. More abilities probably, or specific characters more than likely, and that's very, very cool. And for those listening, I do have some pretty good strategy and advice about completing those things. Stop trying to do the big major characters with your smaller characters to get that done, because more times than not, you're just wasting your time because you got to do that like 100 times. Stick them with the team that they have synergy with, and they'll start using their abilities a lot more often, and it's each time they're doing them, and you'll get done with that category much, much faster.
So you're saying don't put one Phoenix with 4 nobodies?
No, that's the kind of that's the kind of strategy you go with when you're trying to get those knockouts. There's no point because one, you're knocking out all those characters, but guess what? The characters that you have there that have to use their abilities, now they can't use them.
Yep. Yep.
And
I
so you really
remember
just waste time.
my first terrible experience with trying to grind out those knockouts. I was doing something very similar to that. Didn't know it was the thing to do yet. I just kind of put in I think I put in like a big Ghost Rider and 4 other characters and just got absolutely demolished by some guy using a Baron Zemo and a Hela. And yeah, I sent in my first ticket in like a year for that one. I'm like, bro, this is garbage.
Oh my god. I remember one really cool one. I think I touched on it last week. But the one guy who was sending out the weak characters with this fucking monster god Sinister. And he summoned one of my weak ass dudes and it was like 4 times stronger than mine. I'm like, fuck this. That was the first time I was like, no, gotta do it. I'm quitting. I'm not doing that anymore. And that's really when I started coming up with that strategy where just stick those characters that you need those abilities for with the appropriate power level and synergies with their team because they're going to get the chance to use their abilities more often.
Absolutely, because when I was trying to grind out knockouts and a couple of other things previously, that was what was killing me. Was I'm like, okay, these characters aren't getting to take a turn; they're just being useless because it's putting you in matchups against people with similar things. So, yeah, it was just an
So it looks like
absolute.
the requirements here for Jubilee, they're standard issue. The
Okay.
recommendations were the only things that were pretty high.
I think at this point, people are just looking for excuses to be upset because they're frustrated with a lot of things going on with the game.
We're due for another negging from Scopely or Marvel Strike Force.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, boycott 2021.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It'll.
You got to check out my meme section. I found one of my old memes for 2020 boycott.
Oh, God, that was so long ago. I forgot what we were even boycotting back then.
Fuck, I don't remember either. Now that I think about it, like, what was it? It was around. It was Cyclops's. I think it was another price thing. Like,
it was definitely because the big guys were all boycotting Cyclops, the purchases. But I don't remember. I think it was issues with Red Stars and issues with some pricing problems.
I mean, at the, you know what? It could have been a combination of both because, like, once they made the switch in the percentages and how many categories there were in the red orbs, I was getting 5 or above actually quite often with my red orbs, and now I can barely get past 3.
Yep.
You know, and shit. I mean, I talked to you about the last couple, and they were some like really big collections of red orbs, and I didn't get anything past like 1 or 2, and I even bought a stupid package.
Oh, the $50 one?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel dirty.
You know, I see Mobile Gamer and he always talks about how the Pack of Shame is that war one, but I'm gonna be honest, like I get why that's the Pack of Shame, the one that comes with the war credits and it gives you like the maximum for like war refreshes and everything. But I'm gonna be honest, the Pack of Shame is the red stars. Like, because you almost feel obligated because like the 5 that you might get while somebody's in there, you're probably not gonna get anything special. You don't really want to use the power course because the 900 power course for 2 is absolute garbage. And so, like, that's...
And here's the thing about that, too. Worst. I actually thought about it even after, and I'm still kicking myself about it because I bought a red... You guys need to listen to this. I bought that pack for a Blitz character. Okay, if you're newer to the game...
Oh, man.
Then you won't understand this, but all veterans will know on your second run, you can get up to 4 red stars. I am still kicking myself right now about it because I have a big enough roster where I can blitz my way to 3 or 4 red stars very easily. And I bought a $50 package.
Oh, man.
Fuck me.
Yeah, those whale war things that I watch Casino do, I'm like, bro... It takes a special kind of someone to... Casino is in a good boat where basically his fans are just paying for him to get those red stars. But the people that he has on there, some of them, I'm like, man, what are you thinking?
Speaking of which, hey, followers and subscribers, Cheese and Saltine and me would like to be in that same area.
Yes, we would. Being in a spot where, You know, our
Well,
streams can help
we're willing
fund
to
the
work for it.
fun. Yes, absolutely. We are definitely willing to borrow your money for the privilege of showing you great characters.
And I'm
So,
not above an air handy. Okay.
all right.
Oh my god,
So,
I need
move.
50 grand for this gas can, and I can't get it.
Oh, you know what? I'm sitting on. I've been needing. I swear, the worst part about this game is the algorithm that tells the store don't show an item if it's the
I
last one
know.
somebody needs. I've been waiting for a
I
week and a
have.
half on the last of the little purple rocks for a Gear 15
Oh
Thanos.
my god, that's me too. That's me too.
Oh my
I'm actually
god.
right now. I just finished the rocks. I'm like, yes, finally. I go to my roster to go like, okay, I'm in, man. I'm in. No, I need superior psionic essence. I'm like, fuck you. I need 2 more of those glowy blue balls.
That is the worst part about this entire game. Is honestly
I
the wait for that. Because you know what? Guess
oh
where I
yeah.
have seen it. I have no war credits. Okay, I've been sitting on about.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
no war credits.
that's where they
Guess
put
what?
it.
It's been in my war store every single refresh for the past 3 days, but I have not had
Yes,
the credits to
I
buy
have
it.
that. I have the start credits to prove that I always look and buy those when I can. I'm down to like 6,000, whereas that shit piled up to almost 100 grand at one point.
Oh my god. That's where I'm sitting at. Oh my, I can only imagine. How does your raid credit look? Because I think I have like 500,000 at this point.
I actually make a very good habit of getting all the oranges when possible, no matter what the number is, because the ones that they have in that store, they go so fast.
That's true.
They
I actually need a bunch of the little papers for skill characters. I did not realize that I was basically out of those.
So like any of the orange pops up, if I have, anything more than 5,000, I just buy them all. Because at some point or another, I'm going to need those, and I'm going to need them in the hundreds.
Yep. How many orbs do you
So
have saved? Did you open them when they announced that they were not going to be doing an orb opening event, or are you saving them in hopes that some people open orbs thinking that they won't, and for them to announce that they will do one?
no, dude, seriously, they're just egging that shit on. I've been at it. I've been at it for like the last year and a half doing the horde thing, and I'm done because they never do it, and I think it's a dead thing. But they're just letting it. They're letting us, the community, keep it alive, and people are just hoarding for no reason.
I believe it. This last announcement, I think it was Cerebro officially said that they have no plans on it currently. I'm waiting to see, I'll give it another month or so after that to see if maybe that was enough to push people to open theirs. And if they do, waiting for the typical Scopely, all right, cool, time to do an orb opening event now that we actually caught people.
And the weird thing with the orb opening events though is that like even when that's upon us, I think I've reached a level in my roster where it hasn't been a problem just playing the game to get all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall the last time I've actually had a problem of just opening up the orbs that I need to open up. Like, there's no point. Like, you need materials all the time, so open those. The one that I don't open because I have there's literally nothing useful in them is the blitz orbs.
Yes. The only
If
thing,
you
what's in them right now?
farm those
Domino is still in them?
yeah, yeah. That's the only reason why you would even open those now. I mean, there's not enough gold. There is gold, and you can get it to a decent point, but that's more like for a beginner or mid-level player. Gold at our roster level, it's
Yeah,
stupid.
it's goofy how we've gotten back to a point where so I remember because my brother started playing about a year after I did. And he was always telling me that his problem was the training materials. And I'm like, training materials? That's a problem for you? I didn't comprehend it because a year ago,
It's
that
training
was
modules, yeah.
Yeah, that was like when level 70 was still the max. Might have even been 65 and 70 was on the horizon. And I'm like, bro, I have like 10,000 of the gold ones. Like, what are you talking about? You're running out of training materials. And I like looked at his game because I'm sitting there playing. And I'm like, you got to upgrade this character, man. What are you doing? And I like press the upgrade. I'm like, how are you out of training materials? I just forgot how much they used to give us those and how long we got to just grind those away, being stuck at level 60 for so long. So Now,
Oop,
like, so then I was
I got
like, gold was always my issue, but we've reached a point where gold is no longer an issue again. Like when you're at the end game, and it gets back to being the what's it called, the training materials. Because now at this point, I never like. I mean, I have like 10,000 of the green ones, but as
yeah.
fast as I'm getting them, I'm losing them trying to upgrade these characters that are necessary for all these new game modes.
That's why you got to farm those arena characters out as fast as possible because you get actually a decent amount of the orange training modules in that Kingpin's orb.
Yeah, as much as we junk on it, it actually is really useful for that purpose.
That's the only reason why I even open like those. And it does honestly in the long run of the math of using arena credits to farm characters, it doesn't make any sense because you can only buy those characters so many times a day, anyways.
Yep,
Unless you're
exactly.
willing to pay power cores.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
it's just uh, those training orbs. It's goofy to be in the spot that we're at. The end game is such a weird spot right this second.
T4.
Is Doctor Doom? So I feel like you may have a little bit more knowledge on how he is than I am, because right now I'm sitting in like a mid-tier alliance for Sigma's cluster. So because I've just been kind of slacking a little bit. Have you heard about how good Doctor Doom is? Because I've actually heard that he's kind of a bust.
I know. The only players that are saying that even those higher players, like Pants of the Hulk and stuff like that, that are getting their hands on the Doom, they honestly don't really know how to play the game. They've just been playing it for a long time, and they're not really trying to think strategically. I can think of tons of combinations that he would be useful for in multiple modes, but I'm also not going to sit here and you know, just project my imagination to what he's actually going to be. His potential numbers in just about every range is some of the highest in the game, if not the top in the game in almost every category. It's
It
kind of
should be
crazy.
because he's benefiting from the Stark Tech for two different origins.
Yeah, and you only get one, whatever's the highest.
Oh, really? I thought he got to eat from both plates. Okay.
No, and that's coming straight out of Cerebro and the developers. So it's whichever the highest start tech is. Like if you're in that area where you only got one that's higher than the other, and not like probably like me where I'm in an alliance where start tech has been maxed forever, and you don't have to worry about it. But I think really the problem is everybody wants to utilize the summons that he has easier. But you got to think about things like cost, the economy of using his powers, along with protection for those minions, healing potentially for those minions. I mean, there are some tricks like with Minerva with summoners that you can use to heal characters over and over and over again with every death. And if Doom is summoning those over and over and over again, and they're committing suicide to create massive damage across the board, well, you're also creating heals for the other characters on the field and blah, blah, blah. And like I was saying, I can't really say too much about Doom, but I do believe he is going to be a huge character. It's just going to be a matter of time before people are going to be able to realize which combination of characters are going to work best with Doom. I personally have a really good idea of where I want to be with him, and that's specifically using Red Guardian, Doom. Minerva is definitely one of them because I'm also going to probably you need a Fantastic Four to make this happen also because Doom actually has a special quality to him where if there's a Fantastic Four on either side of the field, he's going to get a big bonus also. I forget which it is. I'm going to assume damage and HP, but he
Mm-hmm.
gets that. I'm going to use Invisible Woman in that team.
I was gonna
Uh,
say she seems like the best choice. There's uses that I've found for what's his name? Human Torch, but otherwise outside of Human Torch and Invisible Woman, I just can't really justify the other two that frequently.
Because remember that trick I told you about in raids that I was using, which is healing underneath a barrier?
Yep.
And she could do that very easily and keep the minions healthy for Doom to actually build a big pack and create that giant damage. But that's I would say that would be a team comp specifically built for defense. And I'm
Yep.
trying to come up with a unstoppable defense. And I really won't know until I literally see on the field what the behaviors are with the characters in combination with one another and their turn order.
Right, right. It's
All
definitely
right,
going to be something interesting to see, but luckily we should be having a couple, like, as time goes on, we're going to get more and more. There's going to be more events that are going to get us Gear 14 pieces. They're already, or 15, they're already making it a little bit more available. Honestly, and that's something that I don't think the community gives the game enough credit for, is as much as we want to complain about not having access to all this stuff right away. Remember when, like, Gear 13 came out and it took them, like, 5 months to even give us a, like, there was like, oh, there's one spot in the store now for it, and
Yeah,
we were just sitting
I
there
think
having to refresh the
that was
store.
the developer area, like we were talking about last week, where they're trying something new. They have no idea how to adjust for what the community needs until after it happens.
Yep.
And I think this is a good spot because honestly, I'm feeling more comfortable with Gear 15 right now than I ever did at Gear 13.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like they're coming in. It's supposed to be rare. It's supposed to be difficult. If your roster is at a point where you're actually trying to get into Dark Dimension 4, you know what this game is about already. And it's supposed to be difficult and almost impossible because that's the level of player you've built yourself into.
Yep. And as a whole, it feels more attainable. Like, I feel like if you're actually playing the game hard and really, like, working for it and everything, by the time you get to level 80, like, because that was the thing when like Gear 13 came out, you got to, what was it, level 70, and it didn't feel like you even could have, like, yeah, I'm sitting at level 70, but I still can't even get my first Gear 13 character. Whereas in this case, I'm like 2,000 away from level 80, and I have like 3 people just waiting to hit level 80. That's the only reason why they don't have the Gear 15 on them. So as much as it feels like they're handicapping us more because, like, yeah, Dr. Doom's locked behind Gear 15, and not just any Gear 15, but good Gear 15 stuff, they're giving us way more access to it than it ever felt like. I think we've just grown accustomed to, like, kind of having these things so readily available now that people are forgetting how bad it used to be.
Absolutely. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I've come up with certain rules in my collection now to where like I told you again the other week that I won't put a red star over 4 red stars into any other character that is outside of my use for Dark Dimension. But then it goes Dark Dimension, raids, and then I actually go war because then it's more important. But I don't think a lot of people realize, even some veterans, because they're always about war, 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 early attacks, win wars, that kind of stuff. But they don't realize that as an alliance, it's the resources that make your roster stronger. And that's
Absolutely.
where you need to go. And war is great, don't get me wrong. But if you really look at the differences between whatever rank you are in the league currently to the next one above you, not that big of a jump. It's
Yep.
when you jump 2 or 3 ranks is when you know that you notice the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and Arena's a big one too, where you kind of want to have the red stars, but you're definitely right. At this point, they're putting a lot of content behind Dark Dimension. That's definitely probably the smartest way to invest those characters, because that's also the toughest content in the game. Because in Arena, like, okay, the guy sitting at the very, very front of your arena's probably got something jacked, but other than that, most of the guys you're playing with are going to be in around the same spot that you are. So, I mean, and part of the thing is, too, a lot of the characters that you're using in Arena are also characters that might be good in Dark Dimension. I mean, not so much for Dark Dimension 4, but
I use
in
Black
recent
Order as my
times.
cosmic team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're still good, and I don't see them really building too much of a counter for them for a little bit longer. I'd say we got probably another good, like, 3-ish months before Black Order really has that solid counter. However,
Some top players are saying this new set of characters is a Black Order killer.
new set of
I don't.
characters is actually where we are going next. But before we say who, I suppose we'll talk about it. The new tag, Shadowlands. First thoughts on just kind of the characters that we already have in the Shadowlands.
I have been big into Daredevil since the Netflix series, and we're talking Iron Fist. You're talking all that good stuff. We're talking mystical. I don't. It's the kind of mystical that almost transcends what Doctor Strange would be considered as like magic almost,
Mm-hmm.
which is really really cool. Which means you got White Tigress coming in, and then you got the rework for Elektra. I mean, it would be really cool if she goes empowered and becomes oh my god, why am I forgetting her like
It's Black
comic
something.
book name?
Black Swan, I want to say.
Black Sky.
Black
Black
Sky,
Sky.
yes, Black Sky.
And the hand molds her into Black Sky. It would totally make sense for the second ever empowered character like Thanos would be Black Sky because the hand is responsible for that. So certain characters of the hand, including Nobu, are there, or maybe they're going to do Five Fingers of the Hand. I don't know,
I could
which
see
would
that.
be interesting. That would be a difficult thing since we already have a hand in the game, and coming up with Five Fingers of the Hand would be overdoing it a little bit, and then still making the hand that we've had this entire time kind of useless. But also, let's hear Daredevil, Elektra, White Tigress. Well, Daredevil, Elektra are getting the rework, but I'm hearing Night Nurse.
Yes. So let's start with Daredevil really quick. So let's see here. Looking at his updates, we got a base health increase of 11%. That's pretty solid.
Is that up on? Is that up on the website right now?
They have the updates for them, but they do not talk about the other two members. They just talk about the updates to these characters. So we got Daredevil with the base health increase of 11%. Basic updated. Attack primary target for 270% bonus or damage, plus a bonus attack for 200% damage. Now, also, what's new is when forced to attack an ally, this character deals less damage to Shadowland characters. So, clearly trying to counter the Mystique and the Emma Frost. That way you're not hitting yourself as hard. His special, updated, apply 2 counter to self and all Defender
Shadowland.
and Shadowland allies.
Are you familiar with the Marvel comics at all?
Ish, not too much with the Shadowland though.
What about what's the two characters that have to do with dark and light?
Cloak and Dagger. They actually had a really good show, by the way, but they canceled that.
That was good. That was good.
But what else do we got? So then the ultimate. If this character has 3 or more Shadowland allies, this attack cannot be blocked. That's pretty solid. As much as people have, he's fallen out just because of everything. Daredevil's ultimate still does hit pretty hard. And then the passive. Gain 10% speed for self, defender, and Shadowland allies. This applies after any character is taken in action. Gain 5% dodge chance plus 5% dodge chance per defender or Shadowland ally. Now, in war, if this character is offense up, gain a 25% crit chance for each Shadowland ally, so he's basically going to crit on every attack. Gain an additional 10% speed for self in war, and Shadowland allies gain 10% speed in war. So, with just that information, knowing who else is on his team, we have Daredevil, we have Elektra, we have Night Nurse, and the other two, you said one of them earlier, White Tiger, and the other one, in case nobody knew about this, Moon Knight will also be coming
Moon Knight, that's right.
Yep.
Oh my god, how could I possibly forget that? I used to draw him nonstop.
So, before we go too far into it, just knowing that he's with Night Nurse and Elektra. Now, I don't know too much about how White Tiger and Moon Knight's kits are going to work. Unfortunately, there's nothing about that on the website. I watched a Valley Flying video a little bit earlier, but did not take nearly enough notes on what they do. It looks like the general consensus is, I know that Moon Knight is going to be applying a lot of negative effects, kind of flipping negative effects to positive effects, and flipping their positive effects to negative effects. And White Tiger is supposed to have something that, like, she does like minimal damage if she's forced to target her own characters, and something with like putting like having a really high focus to strip some positive effects.
Resistant to mind control.
Yep. So there's some really good stuff. It really sounds like they're building a Marauder counter for war, especially. So moving on to,
I'm starting to see benefits to being a Black Order killer, because even Night Nurse has some flips in it too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
So moving on to Elektra. Elektra's getting that base health increase of 11% as well. She definitely needed it. Lots of squishy characters getting some health added to them. The basic, attack primary target for 200 and apply bleed. If this character has 3 or more Shadowland allies, or the target is a defender, apply 3 bleed and gain 1,000% extra focus for this attack.
A percent. That is important if anybody doesn't know that.
Yes, definitely 1,000, because 1,000 isn't going to do enough to certain characters. Like, that still wouldn't do anything to, like, for, say, a taunting Thanos, but 1,000% will. New. When forced to attack an ally, this character deals less damage to Shadowland characters. Since they always hit with the basic when mind controlled. Special. Attack primary target for 300% damage. Clear 2 to 3 positive effects. I believe it used to be 1 to 2. And gain stealth for 2 turns, so nothing too different there. Ultimate. Vital Strike. Attack primary target for 600% damage plus 20% piercing. New. In war, with 4 or more Shadowland allies, apply Disrupted for 2 turns to the primary target. And gain 500% extra focus for this attack. Finally,
oh my God.
onto the passive, we have on spawn, apply Evade and Stealth to all adjacent Shadowland and hand allies, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, they got all their traits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking up Night Nurse right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Perfect. So then new.
She was my first big Red Star character.
Really? Oh, man. I want to say that kind of sucks, but at least now you'll have a good use for her. So in war, Electra's going to gain 40% focus. She's going to give 40% focus to all Shadowland. Generate 1 ability energy for self, so you can start with a very fast Disrupt right off the bat for 2 turns with tons of extra focus. If this character is 4 or more Shadowland allies, gain 85% chance to revive on death.
Whew.
Finally, let's move on to... let's go ahead. You go ahead.
That's a whole team. That's all. Well, looking at that, since I discovered that the characters have their traits now, I looked up Shadowlands, and right here we got Daredevil, Elektra, and Night Nurse, which means Moon Knight and White Tigress will fill that whole team, which means there's Iron Fist and Luke Cage are out in the cold.
And Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah, Jessica Jones.
Yep.
They could still do defenders, because I know a lot of defenders. So you know what this smells like? This almost feels like this new team with Moon Knight and White Tigress going with Daredevil, Elektra, and Night Nurse. That's your war offense. There can only be one other thing to do with a protector and a healer and a highly resistant character, and that's make a brand new war defense.
You know what? Something else to think about too. What they're doing with these characters almost fits perfectly into a pattern that we've seen for legendaries. Now, I don't think that Shadowland is going to have anything to do with a legendary, but what I wouldn't be surprised about is a future legendary tied to defenders. 3 characters that have been in the game for a long time, easily farmable, and all of a sudden 2 characters that'll probably be 100 drops or something like that. I could see that happening in the far-off future with 2 new defenders.
Man, and why do I have a big-ass gray bar floating in the middle of my broadcast?
Oh, no.
I have no idea why that's there.
Weird.
I have a new logo. Maybe that's it. Nope.
Your new logo looks sick, by the way. I'm having my wife actually put that into the photo, so that way for the thumbnail that we put out on Thursdays, it'll be on there as well as mine.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, so we talked about Daredevil, we talked about Elektra, we touched on Moon Knight and White Tiger and their possible use against the Marauders. So lastly, let's look at Night Nurse really quick. So her basic, updated. Attack primary target for 320% damage and apply slow for 2 turns. I don't remember if she always applied slow or not, but that sounds about right.
But it wasn't that powerful.
Okay.
I think like 1 turn or something.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't that good. Then, if this character has 2 or more Shadowland allies, flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on the primary target. Pretty good.
Oh my god, her passive is sexy.
When forced to attack an ally, this character deals less damage. Moving on to the special. Heal the most injured ally and all adjacent allies for this 4,200 health is just pointless. But 20% of this character's max health. Clear 3 negative effects from the most injured ally and all adjacent allies. Call the ally with the highest damage to attack the primary target, which will probably be either Daredevil or Elektra, I think. Ultimate. Heal all allies for 4,000 health plus 150% of this character's max health. And flip 3 negative effects on self and all Shadowland allies. Jesus. Finally, the passive, on turn, 25% chance to heal the most injured ally for 15% of this character's max health. When this character or any Shadowland ally drops below 50% max health, apply defense up to that character. Fill this character's speed bar by 30%. In war, on turn, heal the most injured Shadowland ally for 15% of this character's max health.
Like I told you, that is a sexy passive. Night Nurse is finally getting some justice. And for me, lots of justice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing my white pants.
Well, and plus on top of that, it's finally nice to have something to do with her because there's so many people that just have a very solid Night Nurse. I don't think anybody has a great Night Nurse because she fell out of use before it was really like when Minerva came out. I think Gear 13 was just starting to roll around or had just finally come out. So not too many people have like massive Night Nurses, but everybody who's played this game since the beginning should have a solid Night Nurse because there was a period of time where that was the requirement. Yeah, you couldn't get into a good alliance if you didn't have a Night Nurse.
You could not raid. Like it was literally impossible because no other character could heal ever. I mean, at all.
Yep. And then they reworked the defenders, and she fell out a little bit. And then because the defenders were like, "Oh, this is the new raid team," and then Fury came out, and she fell out a little bit more because, "Oh, this is the new raid team." And then they tried that garbage with Mantis that worked for about 3 days. It was great. And then Minerva came out.
High hopes for her, and she still is really good. I mean, if you really wanted to make a deadly ass team of like, that fucking Doc Ock shit where you're just hitting them like forever. You pair her up with other characters like Hulk and Captain America together at the same time, and put Thor in the background next to her. And good God, I mean, I lose to the Avengers specifically for that taunt ping pong shit they do between each other, and then Thor's just sitting in the back like, "All right, man.
Yep,
I got you.
Yep.
I see you." I avoid them like the plague if I see Thor in there.
Yeah. Oh man, I hate dealing with Thors at this point. Especially like every once in a while you meet that one guy who's just got the beefiest Thor ever. They invested everything into Thor for whatever reason, and he hits that passive, and you're just like, what the hell? I had that happen in a war one time. Like, because normally you see the big Hellas. You see the big Hella, maybe you see the big Sif. And like usually there's a big Thor, but one time I found a team, it was like 400,000 power. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be a cakewalk. And the Thor I didn't realize was like 175,000 power. And Jesus Christ, dude, he was just destroying me.
He'll do the same. I mean, he does it almost even worse with the Avengers.
Oh,
because if Hulk is there and Captain America is there, and if everybody's an Avenger, shit, Cap is he's just shrugging that damage off.
Oh man, they are a pain to go up against now, to be honest. Like, I knew that the rework did them some pretty solid justice, but fighting against them sometimes, like, they're not tremendous where, like, if you have the right kind of, like, war offense, just any of the war offense teams should be able to take them, but they went from being like you could bring Hand in to defeat the Avengers, and now you actually have to bring like the Avengers and like a big Captain Marvel if you don't want to get if you don't want to time out the fight.
Like, I'll really think it through, even if Thor isn't there. But honestly, I've gotten to the habit. It's actually a pretty easy win. I would almost consider a hard counter if Thor, as long as Thor's not there. Pimtech. Pimtech will absolutely destroy like singular characters and just work their way through the clock. I've absolutely destroyed, just drilled right through Captain Marvel's, Hulk, then Captain America, and then it's just the rest of the whole team just falls apart. But if Thor is there, that's a different story because Pimtech is just fast enough, and Hulk and Captain America are just slow enough to where Thor just lays the big dick down like constantly.
All right, so I think we're coming up on the last couple minutes. So I guess the last question to go over then, even though we just got the new patch today, what do you see coming? What are you hoping for in our next patch? I know that everybody's really wishing that Gambit and Nightcrawler would finally wake their way to the game, but on that same note though, I don't think my roster can handle any more mutants.
Ooh. I have actually a really good future prediction, and it's based on the fact that I've been watching WandaVision, and I am a big comic book fan. So this could very happen. I think we might be seeing the full Young Avengers squad coming into the game. And now,
Ooh.
I don't think this is very spoilery. No, it's kind of spoilery. I'm not. I'll save this till like some other date. It just has to do with what's happened in the most recent episode, and I don't know. The WandaVision show is kind of unique on its own, and she does some stuff there that I know of, like from the comic books, that could be kind of critical to rounding out the Young Avengers. Now, you guys want to find that out on your own, check up the Young Avengers, see what members are there, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, that's if you want to go into it. I wouldn't advise it unless you've seen the show already.
Yes. Also, just check out the show. It's really good. It's definitely, like you said, unique is probably the best way to put it. They're doing something very different with WandaVision than any television I've watched in a long time, but they're doing it in a
Yeah.
really good way.
My biggest prediction, and because like I've had very personal experience dealing with grief, this is probably going to be one of the saddest Marvel stories ever told. And I have this feeling that we think something huge is happening, and really it's just Wanda is in complete denial, working her way through the stages of grief. And
Yep.
I think there's a really dark, twisted version of this where she's like fucking puppeteering the dead body of her husband around or something.
Well, and maybe it even goes further because I know that we've heard the rumors that Multiverse of Madness is supposed to star Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, and it's supposed to combine multiple universes and everything like that. Maybe that's even leading into Doctor Strange having to be the person that pulls her out of some sort of depression or something like that.
This is going to be the breaking one because of what happened in the last episode and how I intimately know the Scarlet Witch character, especially through a series of like the House of M and things like that. I have a huge theory that I will tell you right now in the last minute or so we got left here is that she is so powerful at one point, and I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe might use this to their advantage, and we may have this huge, mind-shattering surprise that in one point in the comics she got so traumatized by everything that she's gone through, she literally says these words: "No more mutants." And guess what happened? No more mutants. Her abilities wiped them all out, and something like only less than 3% even retained their powers. So the
Jesus.
reason why in the cinematic universe that we haven't been seeing any mutants is because whatever fucked up shit her and her brother went through, like when we were first introduced to her, she might have done this already. And we've been
Oh,
operating under the universe where Scarlet Witch has already altered reality.
that would be really interesting.
And that's why the mutants don't happen, and that's when we're going to get the X-Men coming in, because some of those key characters actually do retain their powers, and they may use different characters, but I hear a lot of talk of, like Rogue being the villain in the next Captain Marvel movie, which would make total sense because her permanent powers that everybody knows about of her super strength and flight actually come from killing Captain Marvel.
Oh,
She
interesting. Interesting.
she orbs her life force completely.
Neat. All right, so that puts us at 7 o'clock. That is the end of our show. So, like I said, anybody who was watching today, awesome, you got to see it today. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait till Thursday for it. Justice, go ahead and let them know where they can find you, brother.
Well, this is Justice 3 Gaming. I play every single day here on Twitch at twitch.tv/justice_3_gaming. I know that's a mouthful, but that's the way they do their URLs at Twitch, but you can definitely catch any of my games. They're going to be all archived on Justice 3 Gaming YouTube. Plus, if you're a big fan of Marvel Strike Force because you're here today watching our show or you're watching it on Cheese and Saltines YouTube channel, I have my very own Justice 3 Strike Force channel where I debut a lot of new characters, my strategies. I've actually been away from that for a while now due to some family issues, But I am back up and running, and you'll see those videos pop up again. And since I am more on Twitch, you'll be able to see a lot more live gaming, Marvel Strike Force wise, especially with Cheese and Saltines.
Awesome, awesome. And we will have that linked below for the video. And if you wanted to watch this live as well, make sure to check us out on Tuesday nights at twitch.tv/cheese and saltines or on Justice's channel, because I believe he's streaming it live too. And then make sure to check us out on social media. All that will be linked below as well. So thank you all for coming. I hope you guys had a great time. We certainly did. And like I said, watch us live on Tuesdays or catch it on the rerun on Thursdays. But yeah, so thank you all for coming. Hope you guys had fun. And yeah, until next time, keep on gaming, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this week's episode of Strike Time. If you want to see more Strike Force content, make sure to like and subscribe. Also be sure to follow Justice and I on Twitch, both accounts linked below. Make sure to check us out on social media to see what games we are playing. If you'd like to watch Strike Time live, check out twitch.tv/cheese and saltines every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. I hope you all have a great day, and until next time, keep on gaming.